Hello everybody, Hellcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere episode. I think it's 264. And today we're going to be talking about the Vedette Medium Tank. Yeah. Okay, Vedette is a 50-ton vehicle, comes in around 475 points. It is a 5'8" mover, so it's not so bad. Speed for a 50-ton. And it has 0 heat sinks, doesn't need them because it's got an internal combustion engine and doesn't have any weapons that has any energy weapons, so not necessary. It carries around 6 tons of armor for 96 points. That's okay. And it does have a turret. Now the weapon systems. On board is an AC-5 in the turret, with a ton of ammo, more than enough. And it has a front machine gun with half-ton ammo out the front slope. Okay, as a vehicle, makes me scratch my head and think, well, would I have been better off just buying and using Scorpion tanks? They're a little slower, but they got the same exact weapon systems. So it makes you go, huh, really? Don't know. Difference of about 100, I think about 150 points with battle values makes, in the long run, I might have been better off just getting Scorpions. But I'll just talk about the Vedette instead. All right. As a 5'8" moving vehicle, not bad. Gets around pretty quickly. It can displace, and then with an AC 5, you got a good respectable distance with that 18, so not bad. So, but the firepower for what you're getting is like you can grab yourself a light mech for the same kind of battle value. Like I said, you can get some other vehicles that will have more firepower than the 570 or 475 battle value with this thing. So, you just kind of scratch your head and go, I don't know. Is it worth taking or not? That's probably why you don't see very many of them on the battlefield to begin with. Now, you get a lance of them. You can definitely put out a little bit of damage. You can up to 20. That's not great, considering that you got a lot. It's like you could have a hunter tank with an LRM-20 on board do the same amount of damage as the entire lance of Vedettes, and they got the same movement. Obviously, you don't have the turrets on them, but that is to be said. So it's one of those vehicles you go, it's like, is it worth even bothering to throw into your force? And I don't really, to be honest, I really don't think so, because it just doesn't really bring anything to the table that goes, wow, I need that. It's like maybe one or two might be able to find their way into the game here and there, but typically no. It says the Vedette is just not, to me, worth it in the standard configuration. I rather throw some Scorpions on the battlefield than this thing. Or, to be honest, I'd rather take Hunters than the Vedette. But, there's some options with this thing. So, let's just I'll tell you what my ideas are for this vehicle, and then we'll go from there. Now, like I said, there are some variants with this thing. All right. First one, we have it directly taking the AC-5, replace it with an AC-2, and giving it an SRM-2 rack for short-range firepower. Okay. So now you're going to have an AC-2, an SRM-2, and a machine gun. So you kind of got waves. You got some bands here, 18, 9, and 3. All right. You definitely have some options here. Now, with the SRM-2, to be honest, you know me, I'd be like, I just wonder if it's possible to add, wait for it, Infernos. Yeah, it's like, with a 5'8" moving vehicle, gets around pretty quickly. You can close the distance, hit them with some Infernos, mechs, infantry, vehicles. Infantry and vehicles are going to have a hard day with Infernos. and mechs are going to be heated up, especially if you're running in games where people like to run hot. So then you're like, ooh, oh, okay, congratulations. So there's that option. Now, it's like, yeah, it's like I'm not a big fan of the AC2, but when the AC2 can sit there at longer ranges, fire away, and do plinking damage, and hopefully get those lucky hits here and there. And if you're fighting against other vehicles, an AC2 may not do a lot of damage, but it can do those motive hits also. And that's the big thing. It's like you start slowing down vehicles, especially hovercraft, then you didn't kill them pretty quickly then. So there's something to be said about the AC2 on a vehicle. And your battle value is actually less than the standard version, so it decreases a little more firepower, but decreases battle value. All right. Then the house layout does something I never say do. So here we go. They replaced the autocannon with 2 medium lasers and 6 heat sinks in the power amplifiers. Basically, it's like 0.1 tons for every ton. You know, it's like for power amplification. So, and your battle value goes up more. That is almost 50 more. So, yeah, never ever put energy weapons on a internal combustion engine vehicle. Not logical by any means. Yeah, not going to happen. I don't like that one. So, like, yes, the firepower is increased, but only out to 9. So, you're basically doubling your firepower. Now, then we have the Ultra version. All right, here we go. It's like they put on some Firefighter's armor. That helps. And then they put on an Ultra Cannon. All right. An AC5 Ultra, typically, it's like you're double pumping that thing. You're going to get 10 shots out of it. I can't disagree. It's like you're only increasing the battle value slightly. You know, I think it's only by 20. So, not even that, 15. Yeah, it is 20. And you look at it and go, well, okay, you can double your firepower, same range. All right. On a vehicle, Ultra Cannon, fine. I can live with that. Not a problem. It's a slightly better version than the original. And I can get behind that one. Not that I care much about the Vedette, but it is, you know, an improvement. And let's go with that. Then we have the LBX5 version. All right. This one offers some anti-aircraft capability. All right, yeah. You hit a VTOL with an LBX5. Typically, you're going to be hitting with 3 little plinking 1-point shots. And you might get 4, you might get 5. Could be 2. But typically, it's 3 on average. And your big thing is you're looking, let's say on a VTOL, you're looking for those rotor hits, because on a rotor, it's you're going to do 1 point damage no matter what, really. And so you hit, does 1 point damage. Hit again, 1 point damage. Typically, you get 2 armor on a rotor, and then you start cranking into the internals, and you can really seriously slow down a VTOL by hitting the rotors. So, yeah, it's like as an anti-aircraft, anti-VTOL, and any anti-vehicle, because when you hit them with a LBX cannon, you shotgun them, and you got a little less to hit, and you're hunting for those motive hits, basically. If you hit them in the side, oh, so much the better. You know, that works really good into your advantage. So, I can sort of get behind that one. Then we have the NETC version. This one has ferrofibrous armor, Ultra 5 cannon, and basically a little bit more. So it's just the same thing as we're looking at the Ultra version. It's the same thing. All right. Then we have the rack version. All right, here we go. A rack 5. So you're looking at a 700 and battle value. You increased it by over, 2 200. With the rack one here, you got a rack 5. So, yeah, you got a chance of jamming that thing. But it got rid of the ultra cannon, and then you can do up to 30 damage. Burst fire, basically. So if you got a lance of these things, burst firing, they can do some good damage. So later on, I can see running the rack version of the Vedette. So now we're looking at something that goes, yeah, okay. You got a vehicle that's fast moving, displaces quickly, can do burst fire, and hopefully you don't jam. All right. So, but, you know, if you don't want to jam, you can look at it and go, okay, I'm only going to fire 3 or 4 or whatever. It's like decrease your number of chances. So there you go. So I could get behind the rack version a lot. Then we got the light Gauss version. This one replaces the standard. It's got ferrofibrous armor, and then you got a light Gauss rifle. Okay. The battle value is just a couple more pips higher than the standard version, and you're doing a little bit more damage with range. Okay. Alright, so it's an improvement on the standard Vedette. We can get behind that. Not that that's a lot of damage, and is it really worth taking? Hard to say. But if you're looking at a game where you got to fill in a spot here or there with something, and you're not sure if you want to take a mech or a vehicle, it's an option. So, not necessarily great option, but it could be used. And then we got the cell version, Word of Blake. All hail the Word of Blake. This one, it carries a C3 slave, case, anti-missile system, and a pair of SRM-2 launchers, a coaxial gun. So you got an LBX-10, all right, and a pair of SRM-2s, and has a fuel cell type engine system. So it's kind of a what do you call it, experimental style, and works pretty decently. You're looking at about 250 more battle value compared to the other one. But with an LBX 10, yeah. And the C3, yeah. A case, an anti-missile system, a pair of SRM-2s. And I would probably be running at Infernals with those, especially if you're facing off against any type of infantry and vehicles. Yeah, the Infernals are like, hey, must take those. So then you can just barbecue things like crazy. And with a C3 slave system, you're able to use somebody that's closer, so those LBXs can be just dishing out a lot of damage. Shotgun. And if you're facing off against vehicles, the LBX-10 is typically going to do 6 points of damage in a shotgun mode. And then you're going to look at it and go, okay, how many of those might be a good chance of hitting? That's where you're looking at those snake eyes, your boxcars, your side hits, motive kills type of thing. Where in most of the games we ever play against vehicles, vehicles end up becoming pillboxes pretty quickly, especially if you're faced off against somebody with LBX cannons. Then we got the Vedette V7. This one uses the fuel cell engine again. Increase the speed. Let's now has the same speed. It has 5 tons of heavy ferrofibrous armor case, pair of forward firing mag shot for anti-infantry work. Has a light armor. Has a bombast laser. All right, with 12 heat sinks. So now you're just getting back into the whole thing where, like, you might as well just throw a fusion reactor on board if you're going to be throwing energy weapons out there. Man, it's like, no. Then we got the V9, the Dark Age, has a fuel cell, carries a Gauss rifle, 2 mag shot anti-infantry weapon systems, and reflective armor. This comes out at almost 1150. maybe, possibly, with a Gauss rifle, yeah, you can really dish out some severe damage out of range. So, yeah, possible. I can see possibly using it. But you're looking at the battle value of it. Like, is there some better choices at that cost for vehicles? Hard to say. It's up to you. But I'm not sure I'd ever take it. Now, the whole question is, what would I do with a Vedette? If I took it into the inside to change it, well, the Vedette would be take off the AC5, and this is the variant I would run. Is I put an LRM-15 on board, 2 tons of ammo, still got your machine gun. So you got an LRM-15 in the turret. Obviously, it's a great. I'm like surprised they don't have a variant like this, but put an LRM-15 on. You're a 5.8 moving vehicle, displace fairly quickly, and turn it into a fire support vehicle, kind of on the same grounds as a Hunter. But let me see what is the battle value of that. That one I use 600. So yeah, it's a little bit more, but you got more firepower, better at redder range, and you can displace pretty quickly. So that's pretty much what I would do if I was going to run a Vedette. If I got my hands on some AC5s, go away, add LRM-15s, and turn them into fast-moving fire support platforms. And it's like, put the turrets to the rear, put them in hull down, and then fire over the hills. And then when somebody starts getting too close to them, displace, drive forward into a new position, fire again, you know, that type of deal. So they're able to stay out of the action. And if they get threatened too much, just run away. Save the day. That's kind of my ideas on the Vedette. Well, I hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Elk Rex out.